Friends, how are you doing? It is Wednesday and the market is on its second day here with Trump. Let's talk about some stocks and what is going on here. So, like yesterday we saw stocks go crazy. We saw other stocks go crazy today, and there's earnings coming up here very soon with a lot of big companies that we've been watching here, and there's just bigger numbers coming here undoubtedly. So obviously, let's go right into DJT here, talk about what's going on here. A lot of people, like I said, this is a wild card. I still think this is a wild card. I think this is going to be a wild card all year. It's going to be a tricky play, but it will undoubtedly have moments of great success and great despair. That's what it's always done. It did that all of 2024, and even before it actually became Trump social here, Trump media, when it was Digital World Acquisition, it did the same thing. But obviously the last year here into this year have been the hottest plays. So with that, what do we know? What do we know with DJT here? Well, we know that their quarterlies since this, all of 2024, the company actually made money. They actually did well on quarterlies, but it was their first year with actually bringing in revenue with Trump media, where projections where they could go, and they didn't make a whole lot of money, but at the same time too, and there's no way to say this without like sounding biased, because it doesn't matter. If you are an investor, you should come at everything with a double-edged sword and really, look at everything. Look at all the evidence. So, obviously I'm rooting for DJT here because of all kinds of different reasons. But, as someone who wants to see the stock rise, their next earnings, I believe it will be even better because there's been so much traction on, it's kind of easy target here. There's been so much traction on Trump media here. It's obviously going to do well. It's been doing well with people going to it, ad revenue, all that kind of stuff. And we know that Trump's going to push the app into, Trump has already said he's going to release stories that on True Social before he does anywhere else. He's gonna, he said that he's gonna release information about UFOs, aliens, these drones. He talked about the drones. He was gonna release the drones, and just maybe other things that we don't even know about. So, I do think you're gonna see a lot more of True Social emerge this year, and be more of a well-known platform, as crazy as that may sound, because it is something new to the public, and it's heavily used. Don't get it wrong, it's a heavily used platform. So right now all we know is that it's making money. It's probably going to make a lot more money this year because it's going to be a hot year for it, because Trump is now the president. Trump is the face of it, and obviously it's his company essentially, so he's going to push it. Of course he wants to do well because it's making him money. So with that, where the stock can go, one thing that I would bet on is that, in a few months here, not even that far, we have State of the Union coming up. Well, Trump will be talking, he'll be giving his speech, and it's probably going to be a long one. But leading up to that, there'll be a lot of hype around Trump. There'll be a lot of hype around, but when there's hype around Trump, there's hype around DJT. It's literally like the pulse, really. I mean, it's what it is. But one thing that we've been seeing here into this new section of DJT, it's been pre-pricing in things. So the high that we saw it run was pre-election. And then after election, then like right before the election, it didn't do as well. And then when Trump took office, it did better. Like it did better the week before Trump took office. So it's kind of telling us it's pre-pricing in events coming up here. So when we get to this, what's coming here with Trump talking to the nation, I would suspect a week beforehand it will do better. That's kind of what we're seeing here, and that's kind of that's what the overall market is doing right now. It's really pre-pricing in a lot of stuff with what's going on here, and that's kind of like the whole the brand of everything right now. It's just you're having to buy things for what they're priced at way later into the future. So where could DJT go from right here? It's hard to say, because this is something we've never really watched. You're literally watching history be made with a company that the face of the company, who thought of it, who wanted it, who essentially signed it off, is the president. So It's a wild situation, no doubt about it. But listen, I would not be shocked to wake up tomorrow and see DJT go to $20, and I would not be shocked to wake up next Monday and see DJT go to $38. That is just the flow of this stock right now. It is highly manipulated, pushed by investors, sold, bought, manipulated 100%. And you know what? That's okay, because it leaves a lot of room for able to make money and room for error. Okay, so if you're bag holding, I wouldn't terribly worry about it at the moment. There will come moments here very soon where you will be able to get out of your position and probably make some profit on top of that, especially if you're buying your way down out of it. So I'm not panicking about it whatsoever. Listen, Trump won the election. This could be a completely different conversation with DJT here. And I was telling people before Trump won the election, I was like, listen, I'm going to be straight honest with you. If Trump doesn't win this election, DJT, it will probably wrap up here within the next year, because one thing was certain, they were going to go after it. They were going to tear it down. It would have never survived. But now it has a chance. It has a chance of life. So it's going to be interesting how they push it this year. And obviously, you know, people are talking about Trump do something with TikTok, DJT. I don't know. I don't know how they would do that. Okay, I don't. That's like a very broad view of what could happen there. I don't know, but nonetheless, Trump likes TikTok. He is the face of DJT here, and we'll see how these two mingle here in the future. It's a wild card. It's a wild card, 100%. And then just to go over SoFi, I've talked about SoFi every day almost here. So listen, SoFi still had a banging day, And next week we've got quarterlies, and what do we know? We know that these quarterlies will probably be just as good, if not better, than the last one we saw that were huge. So, like I said, I don't want to talk about SoFi for long because I don't have a lot of new things to say besides the same old that I'm drinking the juice. I love it. This is a opportunity of a lifetime for investors right now, to where the next 5-10 years of SoFi have such growth attached to it. It is going to be startling to people, to investors, to watch how they grow wealth with this stock here. 100%. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It has all the ammunition. It has all the right things, all the deals, sponsorships. It has the youth attached to it. It has, you know, every age attached to it. It is essential, becoming a very essential bank, to where SoFi not only is a banking system at this point, obviously, but it has technology integrated into it as a bank, which is why it is growing so rapidly right now. Okay, so I think what you're going to see, undoubtedly what we know we're going to see here, I don't think I'm talking alone here, is that we're going to see SoFi do things here in 2025 that we didn't even see coming. Okay, it's gonna continue with deals. There's gonna be partnerships that we're not even aware of. I would not be surprised as SoFi gets richer here, SoFi could start acquiring other banks here into the future. I don't know if that'll be in 2025, but late into the future, you know, when SoFi really starts to get into some earning, you know, situations where it just has like cash on hand, where it has like a few billion in the bank, where they're like, what should we do with this? You know, those are going to be situations that you want to be a part of, but you want to be a part of them when you got in early, where you were like, you know, just, it's just so juicy, the stock at that point. And we're going to be much later into the future, where we could be talking about SoFi having a stock split. Okay. Imagine if you could just be a part of a measly 5-to-1 stock split with SoFi. Okay, imagine that. Imagine you had 50 shares, 100 shares, 200 shares. Maybe you have 5,000 shares. Who knows? Imagine the wealth. Then on top of that, imagine SoFi, which they will undoubtedly, because they're a bank stock, and bank stocks, what do? They give dividends. That's why people like bank stocks. Dividends. There will be undoubtedly a dividend attached to SoFi here later in the future. I don't know when, but it will be here. It's coming. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. So friends, it's the investment opportunity of a lifetime. It really is. I can't stress enough, put everything you got into it, because it will pay off. I'm not even worried if SoFi comes out with a quarterly here this year where it's like, it was all right, it didn't meet expectations, because the growth rate with what they're doing with people opening accounts with them is growing so rapidly. Those people here in the next 5-10 years, they're going to be taking house loans, business loans, car loans, credit cards, all kinds of stuff that is going to grow revenue so fast, so big with SoFi. These are things you really need to think about. Being an investor is like being a detective. You've heard me say this many times. Really think about where things are going, okay? Think about where things are going. SoFi's, they got the money, they got the deals, they're hitting the quarterlies more than they should be. It's all good. The grass is greener on the other side. We're in it. We're rolling around in it. We're making grass angels, okay? It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. So friends, Palantir, we're but 2 weeks away from Palantir coming out with quarterlies here, and they are expected to be beautiful. They're expected to be more quarterlies that are beautiful. They will be the Q4s wrapping up 2024 of that year. These could be the quarterlies that propel Palantir into this year into a $100 stock and more, and start to get it rolling here. Friends, listen, when Palantir sold off here around, the last 2 weeks when it's been selling off, and people, there's two different, I get people, fear can have a great hold on people, 100%, okay? And trust me, I've been in the market for almost 10 years. I still have moments of fear, okay? Obviously, we all do. You should have fear. If you don't, you can make some mistakes. I see people's comments. I see chat rooms where people, they love, especially because I yap my mouth on YouTube. People love to come on here and just try to beat me down about stuff, and that's okay if that makes someone feel well. I hope I made their day. But people come on here and they'll be like, Palantir is going to $40. You're a moron. You're just telling people wrong here. They should not listen to you. I hate when people feel that way because I know they've been hurt in the market. I know something bad has happened to them, and I get that. Well, they want to blame someone, but you have to realize too that, like I said with SoFi, that there are things that you can buy in the market that are they're just good. They're guaranteed. All the evidence is there that you need that this is a growing, youthful, amazing company. With Palantir, we have so many elements that go into this big pot of what it is. You have Palantir, who has these bread and butter government contracts that are lasting, and most of them are going to 2030 at this point, okay? We have a president who has a partnership, our new president, who has a partnership with Palantir already. Palantir having already government contracts, we expect those to grow, okay, and not stop. But Palantir obviously has been capturing a whole conglomerate of different, contracts. There was an article that just came out a month or two ago where they went over I think they said the last 98 deals that Palantir has received have all been at least almost at $1 billion, if not over $1 billion. That is wild to think about. So, with that conversation, this is why Palantir is growing at such an unbelievable rate, and no doubt we'll have a market cap of $200 billion here sooner than we think. So this is why Palantir going to $80, of course it's going to $80. It's going to go to $80, it's going to go to $90, and it'll be $100 here before long. There's no doubt about it. Even if Palantir let's say Palantir here, when it came out with these quarterlies here in days, weeks away, and it just met, let's just say it just meets expectation. It doesn't blow socks off. It doesn't do as well as we hoped. There's no doubt that Palantir is still going to hold this $60 to $80 range. And probably by the time we get to the next quarterlies, it could grow to $100, okay? Palantir is going to $100. The question is, can Palantir have a year like we saw with Oracle somewhat, where, all of 2024, Oracle, started the year under $100 and then ran to like 180, 170, somewhere in that range, grew enormously. And of course, Oracle was having a lot of the same things said about it, it can't do much more. And Oracle had a great year financially, but there was a moment there where Oracle mid-year, they didn't hit earnings, and people were like, oh my God. Guess what happened? Oracle kept going. It kept growing because they were still getting deals. They were still getting attention. They were still getting this thing of people are like, well, I guess I better buy it. It sold off. So, and that's the thing. And that's what happened here recently with Palantir. As Palantir sold off here, guess what people did? They did what I said this 2 weeks ago. Everyone said this. We all knew it was going to happen. This is why people are two-faced on things. People bought the stock. Palantir sold off. It sold off to, $63, $64. People bought it. Of course they bought it. You'd be crazy not to. I bought more of it. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's free money into the future. Friends, like I've said, there's just moments where they're gifts from the stock gods, if you want to say that, whatever, however you want to say it. And this goes in my whole theme right now, where I'm just like, we're in such a great moment of technology, and for people as an investor, we are in the gold rush right now of investing. There's no doubt about it. Imagine like in 2000, there was only a handful of tech stocks, and my God, what do we know about tech stocks then? But now, tech stocks, what they're making now just in one quarterly compared to what stocks were making, back in 2000, 1999, it's unreal. It's unreal. What do we know? We know technology is growing at a huge rate, fast rate. We know that Trump yesterday came out and said that, the Trump administration wants to invest $500 billion into tech, okay? I'm sure a portion of that will probably be going into Palantir. Fantastic. They're going to use it. They're going to push it. There's such a fight for it right now with everyone. Everyone in the world wants tech, okay? Palantir is unmatched with what it does. This is what Alex Karp comes out and says about them. Alex Karp has said this publicly, where he said not just about Palantir, but just publicly about AI companies. The United States has the biggest AI companies. They're unmatched. There's no one that has them. Other countries are furious. They're jealous that they don't have what the United States has when it comes to the melting pot of how many amazing tech stocks we have. It's unreal. It's unreal. I mean, we rule the roost with it. So Palantir will continue to do well into 2025 here. No, there's no doubt about it. Listen, when Palantir went to $30 here, there was people saying it was going to go back to $10. When Palantir went to $60, people were saying it's going back to $40 to $30. When Palantir goes to $80 here, people are going to be saying it's going back to $60 to $50. Okay, you see how this works? Focus on the good, focus on the future, focus on what you know to be true. When a company is killing quarterlies, deals, and they have an awesome CEO, which I do think is a huge thing. I really do mean that. Because there's plenty of companies that they don't have great CEOs, and it kind of sucks. And CEOs need to talk. They need to be out in the open. They need to talk to investors. They need to talk to the public. They need to talk to the press, 100%. And Alex, we have that with Alex in Palantir. So, friends, listen, there's really nothing new to say. I've been yapping my mouth about Palantir just like everyone else when we've been saying, of course Palantir's going to $80. Of course it's going to 90. Of course it's going to 100. It'll be here before you know it. It'll be soon enough we'll be talking about Palantir maybe at like $130 before we know it. That's the reality. Because imagine when Palantir comes out with this next quarterly here to wrap up 2024. Imagine if that quarterly is 2/4 bigger than what they just released here on Q3. Imagine that. Imagine what that's going to do to the stock, pricing in what is coming for Q1 of 2025. You won't be able to catch the stock. It's going to run we're in the threshold, the time zone right now, where we're getting to a point into the future where Palantir will change people's lives to where they will become multimillionaires. Not millionaires, but multimillionaires. Because guess what? Just a moment ago, people were buying Palantir at $7, $10, $15, $20, $30, okay? And they're holding a lot of it. Even if you got 30 shares, 300 shares, 3,000 shares. We're getting into a time zone where Palantir into this future very soon, sooner than we probably think. Probably not this year, but 26, 27, maybe 28. It's going to have a stock split, is where people will have a life-changing money. 100%. And it continues to grow from there on. Think about your future, friends. Think about the future. Don't think about like making trades next week. Think about, there's some things that you just want to hold on to. Make strong positions in. Palantir, it needs to be one of those situations. Friends, take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.